Hello, love wrestling. It is Monday night, January 20th, 2025. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, we usually see these guys on Tuesday mornings. We're waking up or we're settling into work when these guys are normally live. But just for 1 week only, this week, we are live following a very fun episode of Monday Night Raw tonight, which we will get to momentarily, but we do want to talk about some SmackDown this week as well, because let me tell you, there was a lot that went down on SmackDown that I want to discuss with everybody. But first and foremost, Drew, a rare Monday evening we're together here. How are you doing tonight, my friend? How are you?
A rare Monday evening live.
I know. Very rare. Very rare. How are we doing?
I'm good. I have a long week coming, as we'll talk about in a little bit. And we're here live on a Monday night, which is not often. We've recorded to air on Tuesday
Yes, we
morning.
recorded at this time before in the past to air at our normal time, but tonight we said, you know what? Let's try to do it live and see how that fares for us. I don't think
in my remote location. Once again,
and I don't think us as a website are running anything else at 10 a.m. tomorrow. So I might see how difficult it is maybe to kind of get a rerun up at 10 a.m. because I don't know, I know we're friends, but we have a lot of buddies over there at Fightful. But Drew, they had their Fightful Awards on yesterday evening, and Drew and I sponsored one of the awards. How you doing, Maria? Welcome into the chat. Drew and I sponsored one of the awards.
Overall Men's Performer of the Year.
And we got Overall Men's Performer of the Year. And in our ad read, it said Tuesdays and Thursdays live at 10 a.m. because that's usually when we are live. And then afterwards, me and Drew were like, oh, yeah, shit. Kind of pretty bad that we did that. And we might be getting some new faces or ears or eyes on our show. And they're going to show up Tuesday at 10 a.m. And they're going to be like, what the hell? Where's the show that was just promoted to be live at Tuesday morning at 10 a.m.? So I'm going to see if maybe we can get this rerun tomorrow at 10 a.m.
So if this is being rerun and it is in the future...
Yes, I will be in the chat if this is happening. I'll make sure I'm in the chat chatting with any of our new friends, but I don't know if that's too difficult or not. So it is what it is. We'll figure it out. We'll send out a tweet. Either way, we got our buddy Dan. Dan, let me tell you. Because Dan pops in the chat and he says, isn't it great to be live on a Monday night? I go, it is great for me and Drew to be live on a Monday night, but I'm getting sick and tired of a certain wrestler saying that at the beginning of his promos every week. But we'll get there.
Well,
we'll get there.
It's great. It was great to be alive during that promo.
The rest of his promo, though, tonight, beautiful stuff from CM Punk. What's going on, Fernando? Welcome in. We are here on a rare Monday. Instead of tomorrow.
I cannot see the chat, so I apologize.
All right. So I will try to keep us in tune. I will try to keep us in tune with the chat. However, if you want your comment, question, anything to be seen on screen, all you have to do is send a super chat. You just hit that button, you send a super chat to us on the show, and your comment, your question, whatever you want to talk about, obviously within reason, nothing inappropriate, will be shown on the screen. So if you want to guarantee a comment or anything like that, just do a super chat. We will not only be very appreciative of that because it helps keep the lights on. It helps pay the people, that do this content on Love Wrestling every week. And it'll also help me and Drew out and things like that. So if you want your comment or question shown on screen, send it to Super Chat. But if not, we will be, obviously, how me and Drew work. The chat is essential to what we do here. So you will not.
Obviously, let's just also say, if this is being rerun on Tuesday morning.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that because we can't pull up your chats because the show is not live.
Correct. All right. Normally when we go live on, I know Ophelia, long time no see. Ophelia joined me. We do watch alongs on my channel, JPJ Loves Gaming. So if you are a wrestling fan, if you do watch Raw, NXT, SmackDown live every week, why don't you hop on over to my channel, JPJ Loves Gaming, and you can see me and my pals doing watch-alongs. On Mondays, I have Ophelia and now Josh Robinson. He joined us for the first time tonight. It's me and Ophelia on Tuesdays for NXT, and then it's me and my pal Amanda Caliber on Fridays for SmackDown. I've also told other people like Drew and Pluggo that, if you got an open week and you want to hop on, man. The more the merrier, So it's a good time over there. But usually, Drew, on Tuesdays, I would say we focus on Raw about 90% of the time. I would say it's very much a Raw-based thing that's going on, right?
For the most part.
For the most part. But tonight, since we're live on Monday and we're going to get to Raw, obviously, there were some things that occurred on SmackDown that we need to discuss. I don't think we need to go full on detail like we do with Raws for the most part. I agree, Fernando. Raw was fire. We will be getting to Raw shortly, but there were some things on SmackDown that I thought were worth discussing. Most importantly for me, the Jacob Fatu situation. I think that is, we'll jump around because I don't feel like we need to discuss everything that happened on SmackDown. However, the bloodline stuff that happened after the Carmelo Hayes Big Jim Uso match, which I'm still calling him Jimmy. I'm not calling him Jim. That's Jimmy Uso. I'm not calling him. You want to call him weird. You want to call him Big Jim? I'm calling him Big Jimmy. That's what I'm calling him. His name is Jimmy. First of all, I thought him and Carmelo had a decently good match before it ended. I really loved him beating up Carmelo while wearing the Carmelo sunglasses. I thought that was very good at the beginning of the match, but it was really what happened after this match, Drew. They beat the crap out of Jimmy Uso. The bloodline shows up. The match, Jimmy Uso technically wins by DQ. They beat the crap out of him. They dismiss him. Solo Sikoa, then we see for the first time since he lost the Ula Fala to Roman on the Netflix debut. He shows up and he gets the Dominic Mysterio treatment. Tries to talk a few times. Crowd's booing. Not even saying anything. And before he even says something, he just puts the mic out, drops the mic, and he leaves. Then, Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga are staying in the ring. And then all of a sudden, Jacob Fatu grabs the mic. And I don't think any of us expected this at all.
No.
I know I didn't. And he grabs the mic and he just goes into a promo. And he's goes, so this is what it comes to. He goes, I'm tired of the disrespect. I'm tired of the hate. He goes, but even on my worst day, even on a bad day, you guys can't touch me. He goes, I don't give a damn if you cheer me. I don't give a damn if you boo me. But one thing I won't let you do is act like I never got mine. And then he just kind of slams the mic down and leaves. And it was very much it was like, okay, is Solo gone? Like, is Solo out and now Jacob's the guy? Or did Jacob just move him? Like, not really remove himself for the bloodline, but like, is he... Like, I thought it was a great promo. I want to see more of Jacob Fatu yelling into the microphone and doing these promos. I thought it was great. I thought it was great. But, like, what do you think this means? Like, is the bloodline kind of no more as we've seen? Like, what do you think this means? What did you get out of this?
What I got out of it was the other members of the new bloodline kind of see as the as a precedent was set that, well, you could just like call yourself the tribal chief and people just have to go along with it because that's really what happened with Solo Sikoa. Solo took the reins, so to speak, of
I see what
tribal
you did there.
chief.
I see what you did there.
Exactly. He took the tribal chief moniker simply because Roman wasn't there to claim it. So he took the Ulafala. He called himself the tribal chief. He brings in these mercenaries in the Tongans and Jacob Fatum at the behest of Paul Heyman, the wise man, even.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "This is my thing now." He did the old Roman Reigns circa 2015, 16. This is my yard now.
Yeah, that I still to this day, it's one line. I still to this day think that is Roman Reigns' best promo. I swear, and I'm not being a smartass. Like I think that's to this day. He obviously can cut promos way better now than he could back then. But I don't even think that was his fault. But I think Elon locked you, Zach. Wow. I mean, listen, I don't want to get into it. But
Yeah,
Zach said that he would retweet us, but Elon locked him up on the Twitter machine. But what do you call it? I still think to this day that is Roman's best promo. This is my yard now. That crowd hated him. But anyway, go ahead.
And I mean, that was that. Well, yeah, we're not going to get into that.
Yeah.
The mismanaging of
Yeah,
pre-2020 Roman Reigns.
We know.
So my thing is Jacob, who's obviously primed to be the
main
successor.
level. Yeah.
It's not going to be the Tongans. It's not going to be anybody else. If Solo is out of the bloodline, or if Solo just does similarly to what Roman did, dips for a little bit, and is like, oh, well, all right, well, I lost, so I'm going to tuck my tail between my legs and go off into the sunset for a little while. Jacob sees that and says, oh, so that's what Roman did. And then Solo took the reins. Now I can do this. So maybe Solo is out for a little bit. I don't know if he'll be in the Rumble or, I mean, that's only 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
But maybe Jacob Fatu is like, all right, there's no Ulafala in play now because Roman definitively won that. But I can be more of a leader. I've been looked. He played the Solo role to Solo's Roman.
Yeah.
So he's just like, well, I guess I'm the next in line based off of what I'm seeing.
Yep. I agree. I liked it a lot. I'm very intrigued to see where this goes. Jacob Fatu has been money since the second he showed up. And this, to me, this was just the start of him raising it to an even bigger level. If he can cut promos like this and be this guy on the mic, as well as what we've seen, like this guy, the sky is the limit. And we kind of knew it was the limit anyway, but I feel like that sky's limit is even higher than at least I was expecting, because I was very impressed that they gave him that moment there. We got Josh Robinson, our pal, popping up in the chat. Hey. Hello, Josh. The boss man Spencer popped in as well. How you doing, Christian? We're going over SmackDown and Raw, so we really don't, those type of questions we don't really deal with, but I appreciate you being here in the chat. Other things on SmackDown.
If for people who may be just tuning in, my apologies. I am on my phone in a remote location today.
Yeah.
So I cannot see the chat.
Yeah. Poor pluggo. Ohio State basically just sealed the national championship. So Pluggo and his Notre Dame Irish are going down, and I feel bad for Pluggo. He's probably going to be depressed all week.
I
So
am depressed solely because Marcus Freeman did not win.
that's true. He was on Raw tonight. They showed him on Raw tonight.
I know.
They had a nice little segment with him on Raw.
I know.
Yeah. I will say this: a couple other things that I like from SmackDown that I want your opinion on, Drew. Again, another short sample size. I like what I'm seeing out of BFAB, man. I like what I'm seeing out of BFAB.
Yeah.
I like the attitude. I liked her
kinda,
promo. I like what I'm seeing.
it feels like since I think somebody in the Street Profits was hurt, so they're
Yeah.
going to be off TV for a little bit. And really, when BFAB was a part of that, she wasn't really doing much.
No.
She had like matches here and there, but she was only just
Well, they gave her
accompanying them to the ring.
They gave her. She was in one of the triple threat matches for the U.S. title tournament, and they gave her. They gave her a big entrance. Like they gave her a full entrance. They made her look good in that match too, and it was like, oh damn, like okay. And then we really hadn't seen her that much since. But they had the backstage thing with her and Mi Chin with Piper and Chelsea, which I thought she showed up really well in that. Like the promo and the attitude she had, I loved it. They gave her the full entrance. She lost to Piper Niven, as she should. I think Piper is higher on the food chain when you're looking at things like that. Like, I feel like her losing was a good thing. You can build her up that way in BFAB if you're going to showcase her. But I thought that that's someone that they should give more time to. Like, you should keep on leaning into that and give her more time. I've been a little impressed with her. The Kevin Owens, Rey Mysterio stuff was good. The Kevin Owens, Rey Mysterio stuff was good. I liked it. Rey Mysterio showed up kind of unexpected. I mean, they were in San Diego. They were in his hometown. They were in the 619, you know? So Rey Mysterio started the show. He entered the Royal Rumble. So Rey Mysterio is officially in the Royal Rumble. KO came out. He kind of was doing his thing, apologizing to Rey, saying, hey, one thing that I've never done in my life is go one-on-one with one of my heroes in Rey Mysterio. So I think you can win the Royal Rumble. And I hope you do. And I hope you challenge me, because I would love to check off a bucket list item for me and have a one-on-one match with Rey Mysterio in my career, especially at WrestleMania for the World's Championship. And Rey Mysterio was like, bro, you're not the real champion, man. And KO obviously lost his mind. This is what we need to know, okay? Because Rey Mysterio told Kevin Owens he was not the real champion, and KO got angry, but he was fine. But it was when Rey Mysterio told Kevin Owens that he was reminding him of Dominic Mysterio that KO said, I'm going to rip your head off. Those are fighting words, Ray. And he went right. Once he mentioned that he was reminding, KO went right at him.
Yep.
Went right at him. They brawled, and then they had a pretty good match. You can tell Ray's on the back nine. You know, he's on the back nine. He can't do a lot of stuff that he used to, but he can still go. He had another good match tonight, too, with Kofi. You know, he can still go. It was a good match with KO. Obviously, Owens beating him in his hometown is the way to go. You get that heat. And then he was going to give him the package pile driver. Cody came out. I thought using Ray in that spot was really good, and it furthered the KO Cody thing. I liked what they did there.
Yes, I do. The whole match and that whole angle was really great, but I nitpick sometimes, and here's my nitpick about this. So they made a whole to-do about Kevin stealing this title. That's not really the world title. Mm-hmm. It's the Winged Eagle title from 25 years ago. Yep. And they have done a really great job selling through the first Saturday Night's Main Event, that press conference, that Netflix press conference that they did, selling that he stole what was in canon supposed to be a one-night only special request granted by Triple H to Cody Rhodes at Saturday Night's Main Event. And this is like the coveted Winged Eagle title, which is not really the real Winged Eagle title, but that's what it's being presented as in kayfabe. They did a whole video thing where he opens up a case and a big glowing gold light shines out, and it's like
Yep,
it's the Winged Eagle title from 25 years ago.
sure is. Oh, did we
So
lose your? Oh no, you're there. All right, sorry. All
this match starts,
right. Mm-hmm.
and KO is holding this title. Wow, Lou was just like, I
Just
am
drop
getting in
kick. Do
this
you see
room.
that? He's like, boom. He's
Kick
like,
that door
he's
open.
talking wrestling. I'm doing a drop kick. So he said, I'm coming in hot.
Yeah.
Springboard drop kick through the door.
So, in typical championship fashion, the match starts, and the title that is on his shoulder has to be given to the referee. It's like they're really treating it like he's the champion. So he hands the championship off to some guy, outside the ring.
Yes.
How is that guy not running down to to gorilla position and
Because
handing
KO
Triple
will
H that
kill him.
title?
Because KO will kill him.
But that's not his title.
Sure. Sure.
So I'm like, okay, so he just handed this guy this title, and we're all just going on business as usual. And then he handed him the title after he won the match.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what?
But they've been doing that every week.
But it doesn't make sense.
No, I agree.
I
But
haven't mentioned it before,
that's the
but
stuff. That's the stuff that we're just supposed to not pay attention. Like that's like the kayfabe. Like that's the
right.
stuff we're not supposed to pay attention
For
to.
some reason, it was
Yeah.
just prevalent to me
Yeah. Well, it
on
makes sense. You would
Friday.
think, right? Like, oh, everybody in the company should know, which they're very much playing it off, that everyone in the company knows that's not the real title and that was taken by Kevin Owens. So the second he lays it down in the ring, the second he gives it to a timekeeper, gives it to a dude, and realistically, how is Triple H not leaving Gorilla and running down or having someone
Right.
go down and
Right.
just grab it from that guy? KO's wrestling a 15-minute match against Rey Mysterio. Send somebody from the back to just go take it. Realistically. But that's kind of like, that's like next level. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know.
It's silly because
Yeah. Yeah.
you shouldn't be. It's making people look stupid.
Yeah.
That's like it's unnecessary to do this. You just have Kevin Owens keep at least like keep the championship with him in some capacity. Like
Yeah.
like I don't know, handcuff it to the ring rope or something. Like
Mhm.
just something that's like, oh, okay, we're playing up that obviously Kevin Owens isn't just going to relinquish this to somebody for a match because they're going to go run it off to Triple H
Yeah.
or
100%.
run it off to Cody or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's my little nitpick.
A lot of good wrestling on SmackDown on Friday. A lot of good wrestling.
Agreed.
I thought the Motor City Machine Guns versus Los Garzas tag match ruled. I thought that was a great tag match. I also thought Bianca and Naomi versus Candice and Nia was also a really, really good tag match. We talked about KO and Ray. And listen, that main event with Tiffany Stratton and Bayley, good stuff. That was a star-making performance from like
It was
Bayley.
good. It
Yeah,
wasn't like I don't think it was the best match that they could have done,
it's
but
fair. That's fair.
it was good. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm still not kind of understanding this Tiffany
I didn't see
thing
them
right
going the
now.
heel route with her. I thought for sure the cash in would lead to babyface Tiffany Stratton. And maybe it still
Yeah,
does, but they're still leaning heel. And I feel like the crowd has been and is ready to cheer for her.
yeah,
And they're keeping her this heel character, which she's still getting cheers because she's over. But I feel like the crowd like really wants to cheer. Like they want to be like, hey, we want her to be a baby so we can cheer for her.
right.
And they're just kind of leaning into her keeping heel for at least the time being. And it's a little odd. It's a little odd. I thought the cash in would 100% lead to babyface Tiffany, but that might be happening later down the line, I guess, if at all. Who knows?
Yeah, it's a little strange. It's just
Yeah.
a little strange because, like you said, and we talked about it last week also. Like, hey, the big thing that's happened from this whole angle with Money in the Bank briefcase is that she is being manipulated and gaslit by this evil heel Nia Jax.
Yeah.
So obviously, when she cashes in, that makes, she's going to be doing this triumphant, breaking the shackles and getting away from the monster heel,
Mm-hmm.
but yet she's still been a heel herself.
100%. Yeah, it's very
So
weird. I don't know why they went that route. I mean, we'll see if it continues, but yeah, I thought for sure we were getting. Oh, lose that enough. Lose that enough. Look, come on, it's a PG show, bro. You all right? You all right, bro? Yeah? Okay.
I'm shocked that one of
He's
my
fine.
cats hasn't
He's fine. Look at
infiltrated.
him. Look at him just side-eyeing at me. He's like this bitch. He's like he sits at that desk all damn day. Loser. But that's what he's saying. But anyway. So yeah, on SmackDown, I feel like that was really the Jacob Fatu was the thing that we had to talk about. We just had to. But I thought all in all, I thought SmackDown was a really good show on Friday. And I thought tonight's Raw, Drew, was very good. I thought tonight's Raw was a lot of fun. That was a fun episode of television.
Yes.
I'll tell you what. I know Triple H had released there was a quote of his that came out where he said that, or the quote was that Triple H views 2.5 hours as the sweet spot for Raw. And for 2 weeks, I will tell him 2.5 hours is the sweet spot for Raw.
Yeah,
Because
I'm
I
not
feel like
hating
last
it,
week and this
honestly.
week were excellent episodes of Raw, and they were both. Tonight went 2:35. It ended at 10:35 tonight. And I thought the pacing, the timing, I agree. I think the 2.5 hours is really, because 3 hours feels like too much. And there are some weeks where 2 hours feels like not enough. So I feel like 2.5 hours, kind of like the old takeovers, 2.5 hours, beautiful. I feel like that really feels like it could be a real sweet spot. But I thought Raw was great tonight, Drew. I thought it was really good. We're going to get into it right now, but I thought it was a very fun episode of Monday Night Raw.
Yes.
And the episode started with the opening montage. Well, yes, but before that, there was an opening montage that we normally get, and then we saw Rhea Ripley walking into the arena, smiling at the camera and doing that, and then out of nowhere, she gets attacked by Nia Jax. And she gets beaten up by Nia Jax. Eventually, some security gets there and tries to break it up, but Nia continues to beat her up for a little bit. They finally get separated, and we see that before we even hear from Michael Cole and Wade Barrett and before Raw starts. So we get that. And then Raw does open with the gentleman on your t-shirt as Jey Uso makes his entrance to the ring, and Michael Cole was jumping up and down. Wade Barrett was yelling at him, Michael, ridiculous. It was very hilarious.
Michael Cole looks absolutely awful doing that,
He looks like
but
a
it's
clown, but you can
hilarious.
tell it's hilarious and it's very good. So Jey Uso makes his way to the ring. He's talking about Saturday night's main event, which we have to quickly go through the matches at the end of this real quick because Saturday night's main event is this Saturday. Right now, there are 4 matches booked. So we'll go through those. I don't know if a 5th will be added on SmackDown, I would guess, but we'll kind of see. But anyway, he comes out, he talks about his plan to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and he is immediately interrupted by Gunther. Gunther comes out. He's laughing at Jay's plans. He's calling him a funny little man. Yeah, he says they both know that's not how it's going to go. He said, last week you looked me in the eye and you said every day you bet on yourself, and I believed you. He goes, I was excited for this match until today when I saw you walking in here pretending like our conversation last week never happened. He says Uso's words and actions do not align, but Gunther says that his do. And he says on Saturday when the bell rings, he's going to expose Jay as a flash in the pan with no business being this close to the World Heavyweight Championship. And then Jay kind of retorts. He says, yeah, people call me the mascot. They say I'm right. He goes, but, the people in this crowd are my team. They got my back. They're my squad. They're my ride or die. It's really getting the crowd amped up. He's just so over. Jay. It's crazy how over he is. And I liked Jay's last line where he said, "They're my ride and die. They'll be with me when I win the title on Saturday." And he goes, "And you better put some respect on my name because there's one person in this ring who has main evented a WrestleMania, and it ain't you. And it ain't you." I thought that was a great line from Jey Uso. And then Gunther snaps, and they brawl. And we get a brawl separating to end the first segment of Raw. I thought Gunther was excellent in this promo. I thought that line by Jey Uso at the end and that little thing he did was also very good.
Yes.
We'll talk about it later. I don't think Jey has a shot in hell to win this match on Saturday. I really don't. Maybe a small shot in hell. Maybe a small shot, but I don't think he wins it on Saturday. But I am looking forward to this. I think this is going to be I think this is going to be good. I think this is going to be good on Saturday.
Yeah.
This was a good promo. This got me excited for this match.
His music played for like 4 straight minutes.
Jey Uso.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the whole crowd.
Yeah, the crowd doesn't
still
stop. The crowd never slows down with him.
There's something special about that.
Yeah.
Really,
it's one of the reasons why I think there is maybe a small chance he wins.
Well,
Fernando in the chat just said Jey has taken the title in a surprise. That's what he said.
I believe last week
you said you were leaning that way too.
It's like
or you thought it was possible
because of the Roman Reigns factor here and The Rock potentially not wrestling at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I have no problems at all because there's still, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit, there's still referencing people going to help Roman Reigns.
Yep.
And they did it in kind of a surprising way in a little bit that we're going to talk about. But for him to have this just like wave of adulation every week from every crowd.
You have to reward that at some point, right? Yeah, you have to reward that at some point, right? Like he got himself that. Like, I'm not saying anything is like given, but
there were I can't think of the word, but Vince McMahon used to do this very shittily, where somebody would be massively over and he wouldn't do shit about it.
Well, if it wasn't, if they got over and they weren't, if they weren't part of his plan, he would purposely make it that they wouldn't get as over as they could.
Regime, that was the word I was thinking.
Yeah.
So Triple H, please don't do that. Don't be that guy.
I have faith in Triple H still. So,
I mean, he has been, while I have been critical, he has been much better in the last year.
Oh, yeah.
And seeing a direction going in a certain way and pivoting and doing it.
Yep.
So I've not been.
Zach, that is a firmly special because I use shittily a lot as well. So I feel like Drew, I'm starting to rub off on Drew because that's the first time I think I've heard him use the term shittily. So I'm proud of him because it's a great word and it should be a word, even if it isn't a word.
Shittily. I don't use that very often. So probably I got it from you.
Yep. Shittily. Very good. I don't even think it's a real word. But you know what? It should be.
Likely not.
It is now.
But you know what? There are no rules anymore.
Yep.
So
see, thank you, Zach. This was the affirmation that we needed. Okay, continue.
So knowing now that Triple H does do a better job at this, if Roman Reigns isn't, for those who maybe didn't see this last week, I guess you can say fantasy booking, as much as I hate saying that, is in the wake of Rock not being at WrestleMania, Roman winning the Ulafala back will turn him heel again, because the Ulafala is a symbol of power and greed and all of these terrible heel things that a babyface has absolutely nothing to do with. So the story should be Roman turns heel based off of winning the Ulafala again, which is a direct result of Sammy, Jimmy, Jay, even Punk to an extent, um, helping him both at
Mhm.
Survivor Series and scattered about in other situations where he's tried to get the upper hand on the new bloodline. And as a result of winning this Ulafala back, Jay, who is the most over out out of the entire bloodline, both OG and new,
Mhm.
aside from Roman himself, who has sometimes
I think you could make a close argument, to be
for
honest with
who?
you. I think you make a close argument that Jey Uso is as liked
Oh, out of the
and
number
as
one.
over from at least a crowd reaction standpoint to Roman, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, you could even
I think
argue
you can
that.
make that argument. I think we're approaching
Yeah.
it, you know?
If you can go back to other instances in this story where before even Sammy came back into the fold,
Mm.
Jimmy, who was always stuck by Roman, and Roman would come out.
Yep.
I think the most famous one, I think, is the Saudi SmackDown. Jimmy and Roman come out to Roman's music, of course. And then Jay comes out to. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It wasn't the Saudi SmackDown. It was right before that. It was the Brooklyn SmackDown, the one that I went to. Um, Jay comes out, and the crowd erupts, and you can see it on Roman's face. And he's like, "What the hell? Why are these people cheering for him?" And he
Mm.
was like getting a little upset about it. You could tell. And then, of course, that led into the no yeet, which changed it to yeet and
Yeah.
bringing everybody back.
Mm-hmm.
But that moment, I think, sticks with Roman. And anytime that Jay is solo, he won the Intercontinental Championship. He's done things outside of the shackles of the bloodline.
Yeah.
And now that Roman's got that Ulafala back, he's sent Paul Heyman out, as usual, because he's a fucking heel, to do his bidding and claimed for him to be next in line for uh, Cody's title.
Mm-hmm.
But as they have pivoted before, hello, as they have pivoted before, now with Rock not showing up at WrestleMania potentially, why wouldn't it be an awesome thing to see, but Jay pull off a shocking victory off of Gunther at Saturday Night's Main Event?
Yep.
Roman wins the Royal Rumble,
Mm-hmm.
and when it looks like, because he's already stated, according to Paul Heyman,
Yeah,
oh,
he
he's
wants to
picking Cody,
Cody. He picks
definitely picking
Jay.
Cody. So Jay, with his new World Heavyweight Championship, is just like, oh my goodness, this is so awesome! Congratulations, we're both gonna be champions. I'm so happy for you. Here comes the cat. Well, the famous hug of 2020 is
Yep.
going to happen, if we all remember, right before their match, before
Yep.
they had their match at it was Hell in the Cell, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he was doing those hugs, and he was like, "Oh, hey, this guy has no idea what's coming to him."
Yep.
And that same thing happens once again, and Roman decides, "Guess what? I ain't picking Cody anymore. I'm picking you, cousin." And it's Roman and Jay, and of course, I would imagine Roman wins the title back there.
Oh, if that's the
Jay,
case, I would think.
I mean, Jay, I think just deserves a little bit of a run here with this main title
Yeah.
because
I
he
mean,
is gold.
he didn't. They gave him the IC title win, which he needed. He needed that as a character, and he just needed it. but they didn't really give him a super duper run with it. He had one title defense and then lost it back to Breaker.
Yeah,
And
within
it's
like a
kind
month,
of,
I believe.
yeah, it was all within a month or a little over a month. It was a very
This
quick reign.
majestic thing, just like
Yeah,
hanging
so it
out
wasn't.
here.
Yeah, I mean, look at he wants his pets. He wants his pets. He knows. He knows. So it's one of those things where I mean, I think they could do that. It wouldn't be the worst thing. I would prefer that to Punk and Roman, which they're saying, but we'll get there when we get there. You mentioned that Triple H has done a lot better at that stuff we were just talking about for the last year. Do you know what Triple H has also done a lot better than the previous regime? Use his legends and use the legends
Yes, very
properly.
much.
Because they did it again tonight. JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield, love him or hate him, was at the show. They were in Texas. That's his state. And we see the New Day walking backstage, Drew. And we're going to get Rey Mysterio versus Kofi Kingston, and they're walking backstage, and they run into JBL.
Yes. What a great segment this was.
Oh, this was terrific. This was terrific. Xavier Woods, they're both like this, but Xavier is like, oh, JBL, if anybody understands what we've been going through, it's you. At one point, you were a tag team guy, and you had to drop some dead weight. And then what happened? You had the best run of your career. And all this stuff. So you understand why we had to do what we did with Big E, and and then Kofi Woods pulls out like two $1 bills. And he goes, yeah, when you're on commentary, say some good words for us. Let the people know, because they don't let us do anything, talk or whatever. Let the people know that we're not the bad guys here. Make a case for us. We're not the bad, And JBL says, hey, I get it. I get it. Big E with all those muscles and charisma, and everybody loves him. And everybody wanted to see everyone wanted to see New Day. They love Big E. They wanted to see Big E and New Day. And now that he's gone, they got to pay attention to you two, right? I guess. He's like, so he kind of is doing that. And then immediately they're just like, oh, okay, you two, huh? Okay, everybody still. What I wanted, Drew, they ended up referencing it later. What I wanted, because then New Day kind of leaves, right? And they're just kind of focusing on JBL.
Yeah.
I wanted Kofi to come back in frame in the back and take his $2. That's what I wanted. But they did it in a way that was still funny, because Ray comes out, Kofi comes out, and he took the $2 from JBL because JBL was at the commentary table. I still liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun. And then, there were some things that happened before that. We had a good promo with Bayley. We found out earlier in the day by Adam Pearce on WWE social media that we've kind of seen over the last couple of weeks that the transfer portal is still in business, and Bayley is officially signed to Monday Night Raw. We kind of saw them chatting a few weeks ago. We kind of thought that would happen, which I think is really good for Bayley, because there's a lot of fresh matchups for her over there. The Rhea Ripley stuff we've never really seen before. Her and Liv again would be good. Her running it back either way with Io has a history. Dakota. There's a lot of fresh matchups for Bayley on Raw.
I do have a question though about this, because and I believe it was Sean that tweeted this earlier tonight. What's going on with Adam Pearce just being able to control the SmackDown roster? Like it's a little strange that like he gets to like make matches and shit and have
what
no.
Match? Wait, what match did he make? Oh, you mean like how Nia had a match tonight?
Yeah, and then the other thing too is that like for whatever reason Bayley has to like be brought in to be a part of the roster, but Nia just gets to pop in and out whenever she wants to. I mean, this transfer portal or whatever they're calling it is.
Yeah.
It's a little confusing to me sometimes, and I've seen it like Sean. I believe it was Sean that had posted something similar to this.
Yeah.
Just like there being a little bit of confusion that Adam Pearce just gets blanket control over whoever shows up on his show without like any Nick Aldis.
Yeah. I didn't think of it that way, but that makes sense. I do want to address a couple comments in the chat though. Fernando, I'm going to come to yours in a little bit when we get to the Bayley Nia match, because I think that is the match for both of those people. But Zach, our own Zach, says Rhea versus Bayley at Mania would be 3 straight Manias for Rhea Ripley going against horsewomen, because she went against Charlotte 2 years ago. She went against Becky Lynch last year. If they were to go Bayley and Rhea, that would be 3 straight against the horsewomen for Rhea.
That would be, I guess, maybe Bayley turning heel then, though.
Well, if you remember last week on Raw, when Bayley came in the ring on that segment with Rhea and stuff, and things got physical, Bayley and Rhea hugged, but the whole time Bayley was looking at the title. She was doing the Randy Orton thing, looking at the title, you know? So I could see it, but I do, again, Fernando, I am going to address your comment in just a smidge when we get to the Bayley match, because I do think Fernando, I talked about it on my watch along, and I've been saying it for a few weeks, especially after the NXT stuff with Bayley last week. Oh, yeah, Bayley glared at that title with that at the end of that segment last week with Rhea. She was literally staring at it almost the whole time. But we did find out in this promo backstage that Bayley is entering the Royal Rumble. So she's looking to go back to back, just like Cody did last year. And Nia Jax confronted her. And then Bayley basically said, if you got something to say it right now, kick your ass right now, or we can do it in the ring. And then, you know, then we had Kofi and Rey Mysterio, JBL on commentary. This match was good. At one point, Xavier Woods does get involved. Rey was going for the 619, and he tripped up Rey in the ropes, to which the referee saw it. How it's not an automatic disqualification, I have no idea.
Yeah,
because that is a disqualification. But they did the throw out thing, and as they did the throw out thing, Kofi tried to take advantage of Rey and get him from behind and try to win. But Rey was able to kind of roll Kofi up in some sort of roll up. I don't remember what kind it was, but it was a counter to the boom drop and like a quick little roll up, and Rey got the win over Kofi Kingston.
So something that I can be critical of Triple H is repetitive booking. And it's like, okay, when you know, you could just book the bad guy to win the match. We don't have to always do like the beat down of the babyface after the babyface.
I actually think Kofi losing was
victory.
Yeah,
you know?
I think Kofi losing here was the right move. But I do agree with you. They do kind of do that too much, where the good guy gets the upset victory over the bad guy, and then the good guy just gets the shit kicked out of him. I mean, they do that. They lean into that more than they should, I think. But I actually think with the New Day's character and where it goes, this is just more shit for them to be bitching about. You know what I mean? Like, I think it fits here.
2 things also. 1, the black jeans on Kofi.
Oh, I loved it.
They fit very nicely. That's all I'm going to say there. Number 1. Number 2.
Can't bring this guy anywhere.
Number 2. I'm keeping it as PG as I can. Definitely want to see him wrestle in those every week. So the other thing is, what I really liked now was they come out to the New Day music.
Yeah, and they would immediately were like, cut it.
It was like, no, shut it off. Turn off the lasers. Stop the Tron. None of that. You know, that I really like that a lot, because I was actually waiting in anticipation to see, you know, what, they're going to Def Rebelify.
I think they are going to get new music, you would think, right? I would honestly.
I would say they have no music.
I was just going to say that. I would say I would give him the Ciampa treatment in NXT, like where when he first turned on Johnny, he had no music, so you could just hear the visceral reactions from everybody. And I feel like the New Day should come out to no music for at least a little bit. I think they should come out to no music so the crowd can just basically do what they're doing now, and that is just drown them with boos. I think that would be very good for the New Day if they came out to no music. They could just soak it in. Oh, just cutting promos, talking shit to the crowd the whole time while the crowd is just like, F you, man. Like, oh, dude, that would be great. That would be really, really good. Really good. Exactly, Zach. Very ECW Dudley-like. Let the crowd be the music. Ciampa was one of the more recent thing. I remember the reaction when he won the title on that random NXT. And then I just remember the next week he opened the show and he had no music. And the crowd And that was at the Little Full Sail.
Yeah.
And the crowd was, you could hear
They were relentless.
the
It was
hatred,
amazing.
like you could literally almost feel and hear and taste the visceral hatred they had for that guy. It was amazing. It was amazing. But anyway, yeah, so I thought, and then after this match, the New Day beat the crap out of Ray. And then Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro from the LWO came out, ran him off, but then they got Wilde. They kind of jumped him and threw him into the post and kind of knocked him unconscious. And the New Day kind of got away, one-upping Rey Mysterio in the LWO, which I thought was good.
Here we go.
Oh, you got both of them on there. Oh, are they playing with each other?
Yeah, well, you could call it that, maybe.
It's a boy and a girl you have there?
Yes.
The bigger one right there? Yeah, the bigger one to your right is the boy, right?
Yeah.
Got it.
The bully, we call him here.
Yeah, that makes sense. Backstage, we have Chad Gable and American Made. We kind of see them in the back, and Chad is being really animated. Like, it looks like he's yelling at them all. And then he kind of turns around and he apologizes. He says, "I'm sorry, I was motivating my team." And he says that the whole wrestling world is talking about him, and he knows it seems that he has a problem fighting luchadors. He says, I went to an intelligent man with a mustache so I could get some inner stuff when it comes to the luchadors. Dominic Mysterio is helping me out. Yeah, Maria and Fernando, I think that's where we're going. I think it'll happen at the Rumble, but I think we're heading towards Penta and Ray versus the New Day. I think that will happen. And then he goes, meanwhile, he's given the rest of the squad their marching orders, and it seems like Ivy Nile is going after the Women's Intercontinental Championship she made a reference to, and the Creed brothers are going after the War Raiders, or planning to go after the War Raiders for the tag titles. I think it would be funny, not right away, obviously, because the other teams just won their belts. But wouldn't it be funny if the rest of American Made all became champions and Chad Gable was still searching for his first championship? Like, wouldn't that be a good angle for Chad?
Yeah,
if they all won their belts and they were all champs, and he still is like, what? I don't have my belt yet. Like, because he'd be happy for them. Idea. Like, he would be happy for them, but he would hate every living second of his life.
Yes.
It would be
amazing.
Actually
really like that.
That would be amazing. I feel like he would crush it. He would absolutely crush it if they did that. I think that would be the way to go. Not right now, because Lyra just won. The War Raiders just won.
Yeah, right.
But if you're telling me, like, after Mania sometime, like heading into the summer months, Ivy Nile becomes the women's IC champ, they become the tag champs, and they're looking at Chad like, hey, you're our leader, but you're the only one that doesn't have a belt. And then Chad is just losing his fucking mind. Oh, give it to me. Anyway, we then have Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn walks to the ring. He says, "I'm not going to beat around the bush. I spoke to Adam Pearce. I'm officially entering the Royal Rumble." So Sami Zayn, yet again. Right now, we have like 9 or 10 dudes announced for the Rumble. The ladies have 2 people announced.
Yeah.
2 people.
And they're heavy hitters for this.
Oh, they Rumble. Oh, if you're talking about the men's lineup so far, those are all future world. Like, those are all former. Well, Sammy, not really, but most of those people are either former world champions or they are future Hall of Famers. Every single one of them. Like, that is a murderer's row of stars in that men's Rumble so far. So yeah, he declares for the 2025 Rumble. He says last week Seth, told him he spends too much time helping other people, and that got him thinking about what he wants. He says the 14-year-old me wants to main event WrestleMania. He said around the world dreaming of being a pro wrestler, and thousands that get to live that dream. And he goes, in the very small group that can call us WWE wrestlers. He says, and then there's the smallest group, the top tier of WWE. And that's where he mentions some of the guys that are already in the Rumble. He mentions Roman Reigns. He mentions Drew McIntyre. He mentions CM Punk. He mentions Seth Rollins. And he says, and the only difference between them is that they have all had world titles and I haven't. He goes, I've had a great life. I've had a great career. I go, I feel like I don't need the world title to complete myself. He goes, but the support from the fans through the years means more to me than any world title ever could. So no, I don't think I need the world title. He goes, but damn it, I want it. He goes, the 14-year-old me wants it, and that kid is still with me. And that's why I'm going to win the Royal Rumble, and I'm going to take the world title. So before we enter the second half of this, what did you think about this section of Sammy? Sammy's so good at these like
Oh my
getting the
God,
crowd
yeah.
riled up behind him. Like he's just a fucking master at these type of promos, you know?
Yeah, he is one of the best talkers right now, honestly,
Yeah.
and draws you in such a way that is so believable and makes you. I mean, that's what his character has always been.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, this was a really awesome promo. Particularly loved his, the 14-year-old in me is still here and is here in this ring with me every single time I step foot here.
Yep.
And yeah, this was just really, really awesome.
Yeah. Dan, this is a good shout. Dan Brown says, I think the 2025 Rumble is the beginning of Sammy's story that actually leads him to win the 2026 Rumble. I would be, look at, if they ever want to strap the rocket to Sammy and like go, all right, this guy's been really good for us for a long time, we're going to give him that by the time he's at Mania fighting for that title, I think we're getting close to Daniel Bryan level of support that Sammy would have to
Got the
win that
look
belt.
too, funny enough.
Yeah,
He's
I
got
think we're
that
getting
beard, the
close.
long hair.
I think we're getting close. I think we're getting close. He reminds me of Mick Foley as far as like how the crowd views Sami Zayn. I feel like I get a very similar vibe to how the crowd. Oh yeah, and he would win the Rumble in Saudi Arabia, which would mean a lot personally. That cat is going to knock that
Oh,
phone over.
almost.
Was that the
Yeah,
cat that did that? I assume,
it
unless you
was
just
the
had an
cat.
earthquake
Yeah.
in New York. But that would make a lot of sense. He obviously has a lot of emotional and spiritual ties to Saudi Arabia. I mean, Dan, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea, Dan. Speaking of Dan, he'll be joining Drew on Firmly AEW, not this Thursday, but next Thursday when I will be traveling to Indianapolis for the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
But I
There
very,
again.
oh, he's gonna knock that shit over. It's happening. I very much, the way that the fans adore Sammy, I get a Mick Foley. I get a Mick Foley vibe. I like how the crowd truly we all just adored
Yeah,
and
I can see
loved
that.
Mick Foley. I get the same type of vibe. I get the same type of vibe with Sammy. But I think if they ever do that, like he wins a Rumble and he's going to Mania as the babyface Sami Zayn, I think we're approaching Daniel Bryan levels or Kofi Mania levels of support
Yeah, agreed.
for Sammy. Like
Absolutely.
it'll be full bore with Sammy. And it should be against heel Kevin Owens. That's for another day. But anyway, speaking of Kevin Owens then makes his entrance
Yes.
to this promo. He comes out, obviously, he has the Winged Eagle belt. And Sammy says, I knew it was only a matter of time. I knew it was only a matter of time before I see you. And he goes, how do you want to do this? And Owens is acting confused at first. And Sammy's like, everyone saw what you did with Cody. Like, so how's this going to go down? You're going to do it to my face? You're going to attack? Like, how are we doing this? And KO says,
Loved this very, very smart, non-stupid babyface syndrome stuff from him here. Absolutely. This was great.
Yep. KO admits that he didn't understand why Sammy teamed. Oh,
And
there
there
it
it
is.
went.
There it was. I knew it was
There
coming.
it went.
I knew it was coming. What a heel. What a heel. What's that
This
cat's
cat,
name?
man.
What's that cat's name?
That cat's name is Morty.
Morty? Well, Morty's a fucking heel.
Morty is a
Wow.
heel.
Unbelievable.
Thankfully, I'm wearing pants today.
Yep.
So I'm gonna.
So then KO says he didn't understand why Sammy was with Roman Reigns at Survivor Series, but then he thought about it and realized it was kind of different. He said Sammy and Roman have a lot of history.
So much louder now. Oh my god.
He said Sammy and Roman have a lot of history, much like Sammy and KO do. He goes, and Sammy has overlooked a lot of things Reigns has done to him, same as he's forgiven Owens for similar trespasses. He goes, that's what Sammy does because he's a good person. He goes, that's why you're a good person. And he goes, and Seth is right. You do a lot for your friends, and that's why he's here as your he goes, that's why I'm here as your very best friend. He goes, I believe that you can, and I believe that you will win the Royal Rumble because you deserve to win the Royal Rumble and go on to fight for the WWE Championship. And then we can accomplish one more thing together to accomplish what we've been dreaming about since 25 years ago when we met each other, when we won the title, not only winning the tag titles in the main event at WrestleMania, but now we can go one-on-one for the title at WrestleMania. He goes, I know you'll win the Royal Rumble because I have your back. And he goes, and I know that he's going to walk out as WWE champion at the Royal Rumble because he knows Sammy has his back. He goes, I'm your best friend and I'm your brother. And if you need me, I will be there for you. And KO just leaves.
Excellent.
And Sammy's kind of looking like puzzled in the ring. Yep, 100%. It was gaslighting by Owens, 1,000%, because of their history. And Sammy is perplexed and doesn't know what to think about it. He's torn and things of that nature because he knows Kevin's a piece of shit, but he loves him because they're brothers and friends, but he knows he's being a piece of shit. He knows he's wrong. He knows he's not the champion, but he also knows that he's his best friend. And I thought that this was a very smart promo.
There was like a 4-year or so stretch where they were both on the same brand and they were always feuding with each other, and people were like getting tired of it. And I have to say, I think they were together and they won the tag titles together, which is referenced in this promo, and that was in 2023, I believe.
Yeah. I actually had that.
I want to say since the pandemic.
Yeah.
I think this would be the first time that they'd be feuding again.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
They were friends. Yeah, with the blood. Well, yeah, they were friends, and then they obviously teamed up at Mania last year because they were on the same side. Dan keeps stealing my thoughts tonight. He's killing it. Well, no, Zach said that Kevin Owens is Heenan-esque in consistency. I view Bobby Heenan as one of the 3 to 5 greatest personalities in the history of wrestling. No question. If there was a Mount Rushmore of not just wrestlers, but anybody in wrestling, Heenan, to me, is on that Mount Rushmore, but I agree. But Dan said, and this is what it is, because I do think we are getting Sammy versus KO at Mania. I think that is the Mania. It's not going to be for the title. But I think that is the Mania match this year, I think they're going to fight each other. And Dan stole my idea. And I think after that promo, I thought the same thing. KO believes that Sammy is going to help him beat Cody. So when Sammy doesn't help him beat Cody, KO is going to not enter the Rumble, but he's going to eliminate Sammy from the Rumble. Because he's going to go, you didn't help me. You didn't have my back like I said I would have yours and make sure you win the Rumble. So I'm eliminating your ass from the Rumble.
Yeah.
Because you didn't help me and Cody beat me earlier. And then that's how you get to Mania.
I like that. Sammy. I actually like that.
Yeah. Yeah. But so Dan's exact comment was KO honestly believing that Sammy is going to help him beat Cody at the Rumble is fantastic. It makes sense that after Sammy doesn't help KO, that KO runs in and eliminates Sammy out of anger. I think that exactly is how it goes. And then that leads to KO and Sammy for the title. I think that's how it goes. I think that is the way to do it. I think that is the way to do it.
For WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah. Just WrestleMania, not for the title, for WrestleMania. That's how you get to Mania with those two. Wait. KO and Sammy fought at the first WrestleMania after COVID with people, right? They had a one-on-one there? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that 2021 Mania, which was the first Mania with people again, they fought one-on-one at that. So I think it's been since, which again is still 4 years. 4 years.
Yeah, I don't remember that, honestly.
But I'm pretty sure they had a match there. They were
one-on-one there. WrestleMania.
I'm pretty sure they were one-on-one. Yeah, because that was like the first, it was like half the stadium was full because we were still very much in pandemic times.
Yeah.
But people were allowed to do, but I believe they had a one-on-one, I believe, in that one. But Scott is saying yes in the chat. So I'm just going to say I'm right because when am I not? Let's be real. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's when Sammy brought Logan Paul in. You're right. All right. Those are the pieces.
Oh, God.
Putting the pieces together. speaking of, we did see a vignette for Mr. Logan Paul tonight, but we're not going to talk about that a ton. But he's going to be in the Rumble.
That's all I have to say about that.
It is what it is. But yeah, he's going to be in the Rumble. Whoop-de-doo. I'm sure he'll do a good spot that will look great. I'm not going to sit here and say he's a bad wrestler just because he's a bad person. He's very good at this, but I don't think he needs to be around. But other than that, that is where I'm going to leave it.
I abstain.
So Sheamus is then interviewed backstage. He says some people would say I've had the perfect WWE career backwards because I beat John Cena about 6 months in, but the IC title is the first title that drew me to WWE as a kid, and I've been obsessed with it for the last 5 years. He goes, but now the stars are aligned, and on Saturday, he's challenging Braun Breaker for it, and Braun Breaker rolls up, and he tells Sheamus to look at the title, and he says, look at the title. He goes, this is as close as you're ever going to get to it, because on Saturday, I'm going to break you like an old man and do you a favor and retire. Sheamus does. So he asked Sheamus to retire. Then he's like, just do me a favor. I don't just retire now so I don't have to break you. And Sheamus goes, no, I'm good. And he shoves him. And that's kind of that.
I loved this because
I did
it
too.
plays, both of their roles were played to perfection here. And I've got to tell you something. Damn you, WWE, for making me feel old, because I realized that I've been watching Sheamus for a long time, and this was like really the first time that I can recall a young up and coming wrestler going up to him and being like, "Hey, you're the old guy here. Maybe you should retire."
Mm-hmm.
And that made me go, "Oh my God, I've been watching this guy for 13 years. What the fuck?"
Yeah. It's a long he's been around and he's been consistently good for a long time. Yeah, it's pretty wild. And I wanted to bring back, okay, so we then lead into right now we have Bayley versus Nia Jax. And we see at ringside Roxanne Perez is sitting at ringside. So I know, Drew, you're not an avid watcher of NXT, but last week on NXT, Roxanne came out there to what a lot of people thought was going to be her kind of farewell to NXT a little bit. She had just lost the title to Julia, but she was interrupted by one of NXT's all-timers, Bayley. And they had a little back and forth promo, and it ended up in fisticuffs, and they brawled around the ring and stuff like that. And I thought it was very fitting that during this match, we saw Roxanne Perez at ringside. I thought Bayley and Nia Jax had a good match here, a good one. And at some point during this match, Bayley got physical. She hit Roxanne Perez, got in her face.
Yeah, well, Roxanne was hitting her first. She was going to hit it first.
She did.
And then
she was going to slap her. Bayley caught it, popped her. They get separated.
Justice for the woman that was sitting next to Roxanne Perez.
She got kicked in the face, dude. She got kicked in the face.
Yeah. Hopefully she got some comps.
Yeah, look, she's sitting in the second row. I think she's fine. So, I think she's all right, but they probably gave her a free shirt.
Not on hard cam side.
No, that's true.
Different story.
Yeah. But, they probably gave her a free shirt or a free drink, But I wanted to go back to Fernando's comment, if I can find it. Yes. So, again, Fernando stealing my ideas. I mentioned this on my watch along as well. So, Nia Jax ends up winning this match after kind of the Roxanne stuff. She gets her back in the ring. Bayley hits the elbow drop. Nia kicks out. But then Nia hits the Samoan drop, a senton, and then she hits the Banzai drop, the Annihilator for the 1, 2, 3. So Bayley gets the L. And there's stuff that happened after the match that we'll get to, but I think Fernando is correct here. He says Roxanne will eliminate Bayley at the Royal Rumble and set up a Mania match. And I think that is I think WrestleMania is going to be Roxanne versus Bayley. I think that's what they're doing. I think that's what they're doing. I think that is Bayley's match for me. And I think that's a perfect first opponent for Roxanne. Bayley. 100%. Especially if they're bringing Roxanne up as a heel still. Perfect. Because Bayley will make her look like $1,000 putting her over, or Bayley will make her look like $1 million in defeat. But either way, if your first feud and right when you come up, your first Mania is against someone like Bailey, you matter immediately.
Yeah, that's
Immediately.
major.
And
Very
Roxanne,
major.
we all know, is clearly going to matter. She's a friggin' phenom. Like, so I think that is huge. Yes, I just saw that, Scott. They just announced that the Hardys are going to be on NXT tomorrow night. The Hardy Boys.
Oh,
The new TNA Tag Team Champion Hardy Boys. They just won the belts at the pay-per-view over the weekend. So they are going to be on NXT tomorrow. I wonder if they'll put the belts on the line on an NXT show with the new. Oh, yeah, this is the first time we're together since they officially announced this. WWE and TNA have officially signed a contract extension.
congrats.
Yeah,
Congrats,
great for wrestling.
but I
Terrific.
do not care.
You should care because it's good for pro wrestling. You should care.
It's good for pro wrestling. I'm not denying that, but I'm not
care.
watching NXT or TNA.
No, but you're going to see TNA people in the Rumble. You are going to see TNA people in the Rumble.
That's fine. I'm sure I'll enjoy that.
Oh, yeah. But that is a really, really good thing and a very cool thing. We already saw it on the TNA pay-per-view.
Sandy, who's probably watching.
Yeah, on the TNA pay-per-view, Fraxium showed up on the TNA pay-per-view. Cora Jade showed up. It looks like they're going to do Cora Jade versus Masha Slamovich. Bro, Masha's going to kill that girl. It's going to be great.
NXT, didn't I hear the NXT tag titles are being defended on TNA?
Fraxium showed up and had a stare down with the Rascals. So it feels like, so I'm thinking, what I think is going to happen is I think the Hardys are going to come to NXT and defend the TNA tag titles on NXT. And I think Fraxium's going to go to TNA and defend the NXT titles on TNA. I think they're going to do a little. Yeah, poor Cora is right. Masha Slamovich is exactly. Dan says you're going to pretend to watch TNA like the rest of us pretend to watch TNA. I will say, obviously, TNA airs live on Thursday nights, and I'm usually busy on Thursday nights, right here on Love Wrestling. But I will say, TNA over this last calendar year, they're doing a lot of good shit. They're doing a lot of good shit over there. There's only so much time and so much wrestling, so I get it. But TNA has really risen the level of their promotion this year. And I think that, obviously the business arrangement has helped, but they're selling out. Like they've done some good stuff. They got a good roster over there too. But anyway, I digress.
I don't have anything against the TNA or NXT.
Oh yeah.
It's not my viewing pleasure.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. All right. So post-match here, Rhea Ripley comes out. And Rhea Ripley makes her way down to the ring, and she is brawling with Nia Jax immediately. They brawl all over the apron. Nia throws Rhea head first onto the announce desk. She clears the announce desk. All the referees and security and agents get out there. They're trying to separate them. Rhea ends up doing a cannonball senton off the table and takes everybody out. And then Rhea Ripley grabs a microphone and she says, "You, me, Saturday night's main event." She slams the microphone down, and then we find out a little bit later on that Saturday night for the WWE Women's World Championship, it will be Nia Jax going on against one-on-one Rhea Ripley.
I hear Saturday night's all right for fighting.
That's what I've heard. We then see Chad Gable in the back. Did you notice the Demon Finn Balor reference in this promo backstage with the Judgment Day? Because they referenced Demon Finn Balor in this. I don't know if that's going to end up doing anything. But they definitely had a reference. I'm trying to remember the line. But they definitely referenced him. Someone in the chat, if you remember, but there was a reference to the Demon character. But Gable, in my notes, it says, he goes in with Dominic Mysterio. Dom says he knows a guy that can help him out and hands Gable a folded piece of paper. Gable says he's going to go master the dark arts of Lucha Libre. So what does that mean?
The dark arts.
Who did Dom tell him to go see that it's the dark arts?
Who is the person, do you think, that was on that piece of paper?
I don't know. The only person in the company that is to me, even though they haven't presented him that way, the darkest looking Lucha Libre from presentation is Penta. He's the most evil, darkest skeleton, makeup. He looks, but it's not going to be him.
No.
I don't know. Who the hell could it be? Hurricane?
What's his name? I just thought of somebody.
Who could it
He's
be?
really like the only other heel lucha guy.
It's not going to
The
be
one,
Dragon Lee. It's not going to be Ray. Santos
what's the
Escobar,
other?
maybe?
Oh, yes, Santos Escobar.
But he's not. I don't think so. He's on a different show. I don't think so.
Well,
I have a feeling it's going to
they're
be.
proving that you don't have to be on Raw strictly to be on Raw. So.
Oh, Dan says from Twitter, Dark Arts Wrestling is run by Malachi Black. I think there's a strong chance we might see Malachi Black at the Royal Rumble. Obviously, I assume he would go back to Aleister Black. He kind of does do. He doesn't do lucha libre really. It's more of a martial arts based offense from Black, as opposed to lucha. But Dark Arts and Aleister Black character
How would Dominic Mysterio?
that would be I don't know. We'll have to see though.
That's very intriguing.
Yeah. So then Dominic, so he gives them a folded piece of paper. Gable says and then he's gone. So then JD McDonough starts saying, "Hey, next week we have a tag title rematch, but Balor is hurt." Yeah.
Didn't Dominic tweet like a year or two ago? Didn't he tweet something about House of Black?
You're talking to the wrong guy. I can't remember what the hell I had for breakfast yesterday. So I don't know what the hell we're talking about a year ago. I do too many extracurricular.
Am I off base here?
Yeah, I do too many extracurricular activities that would help me remember from a year ago. It's all. You know what's the craziest thing is if you ask me like, not on the spot because but if you ask me like, oh, what happened during this pay-per-view in 2000, I can tell you like 75% of the shit that happened. But if you asked me what happened on Raw a month and a half ago, no idea. No idea. None. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, so McDonough says we have a tag title match next week, but Finn's still out from what happened last week. So what are we going to do? Dominic offers to step in, and everybody agrees that Finn won't mind. I think he will. I happen to think that Finn might mind. Just saying. Liv Morgan also took a shot at Finn Balor.
God damn it.
What happened?
I just got the notification that Sean Ross Sapp has joined Air Gold versus SRS.
There we go. I don't even know really what that is about, but
yeah, there's some.
I assume it's over some nonsense. So yeah, then Dom tells Liv that he knows she's not mad, but he has an idea to make it up to her anyway, and they walked off together, and that was it. But Liv Morgan was like, yeah, considering whenever we listen to Finn, we don't really win anymore. I don't think he'll mind. I don't think he'll mind if he's not involved. So a little bit of a shot from Liv there, and then her and Dom get away. Then we see a video package for Lyra Valkyria about her winning the IC title from the week prior. We get our Martin Luther King video package, as in America, it is MLK Day. It's a holiday.
And nothing else today. Just
that's
MLK
it. It's the only thing that mattered. It's the only thing we're talking about.
Yes.
That's it. It's the only thing that happened today. When we came back from commercial, one of your crushes, we talked about the Notre Dame head coach who unfortunately lost in the national championship game tonight. Pluggo, my heart is with you, buddy. It's okay. It's okay. And then we see Sami Zayn, who runs up to Seth Rollins in the back.
By the way, for anybody that thought, no, I don't give a shit about football. I just think Marcus Freeman's hot. That's all.
Fair.
That's just me. So.
Fair. So Sami Zayn catches Seth Rollins backstage. He thanks him for last week. And Seth says that he heard him out. He heard him earlier, and he respects him, and he's almost rooting for him in the Royal Rumble. He goes, but of course, if push comes to shove, I'm going to throw your ass right out of that Royal Rumble if I have to. And then Sami says, yeah, if I don't do it first, kind of thing. And that's how that ends. We then got Penta. Another good match, man, for Penta against Pete Dunne. Two great opponents.
Excellent. Two in a row.
Just two great opponents for Penta. If you're just going to have him, if you're going to give him these type of guys and just have him have bangers, just God bless. He had new pyro behind him. He had like that spinning pyro behind him tonight. That was cool looking. Again, looked like a. Oh yes, I forgot about that, Dan. Thank you. Karrion Kross was watching Seth in the back.
Yeah.
I am,
Yeah.
dude. We said it. We've been saying it for a few. I'm digging it. I'm in
Yeah,
on
I'm
it.
starting
I'm digging
yeah.
the Karrion Kross stuff, man. I'm digging it. I think that Triple H is finally doing some interesting, good shit, and it's been happening for a little bit. But I'm digging the Karrion Kross stuff. So that's a good call out, Dan. Thank you. Yeah. So then we like Fernando said, Penta 2 for 2. Drew, really good match with Pete Dunne, another really perfect opponent. Pete Dunne breaking the fingers when he's trying to do Sierra Maoto and all that. That kind of worked in the match well. It was really good. Hoosier, no. Kross has not declared for the Rumble yet. But again, he wins. So they're calling his arm breaking move the sacrifice. That's what they're calling it. I don't know if that's what it was called before. I don't remember. But they're calling it the sacrifice. So he hits the sacrifice.
Great name.
Yeah. Well, first of all,
whether it was or not, it's a great name.
The backbreaker counter that Penta did before this was gnarly looking. It was like off the counter powerbomb backbreaker. Yikes, dude. Yikes. And then he does the sacrifice, and then he hits the Penta driver for the 1, 2, 3. So 2 weeks in a row, we get 2 really good matches and 2 victories from Penta. He is just a star already. And then I'll tell you what, guys. I like this a lot. CM Punk. They show CM Punk entering through the concourse with the fans.
Oh, this was so cool.
Very cool. And then they ended up interviewing him kind of like up in the stands on kind of a roped off session. Now, what I was told from Josh and Peggy, since we're in America and during the commercials, we get commercials. In the international feed, they don't get commercials. They either get matches that are happening or they get promos. And a lot of the promos that they do are in this area that CM Punk was in tonight.
Oh, okay.
So this is like a scheduled area that has been there since they've made the switch to Netflix for the international crowd. So CM Punk shows up. He does his thing that Dan said earlier. Does it feel good on a Monday night on? Stop it. Everyone knows you're a curmudgeon. Stop it. I don't care that you're a babyface. I care when you're doing, hokey shit. But anyway, he says he's a history maker. And he goes, and in just 3 short weeks ago, I main evented the first Monday Night Raw on Netflix and I beat Seth Rollins. He goes, I'm the favorite to win the Royal Rumble. Oh, no, he said I beat Seth Rollins, the favorite to win the Royal Rumble. Like he called Seth the favorite. He goes, it's a fickle business. The stakes are too high. The lights are too bright. And he goes, and that's when I thrive. I go, that's when I'm the best. He goes, with these people behind me. And the crowd is really getting into it. He goes, I can't see John Cena throwing me over the top rope. He goes, Roman Reigns needed my help to settle family business at War Games. And he goes, I put Drew McIntyre in the dirt. And then he goes, and Sami Zayn, he's not on my level. That was kind of a dig at Sami there. And then he says, you put Hulk Hogan in the Royal Rumble, and I'll throw his dusty ass over the top rope and end Hulkamania once and for all. And the crowd fucking popped.
Yeah,
the crowd
that
popped
was the loudest
gigantically. He goes, my name is CM Punk. I'm here to settle scores, cash in debts, and call in a favor or two, which is obviously referring to the favor with Paul Heyman, I would assume. He goes, to make sure one man, one name, 3 syllables gets his hand raised. C, and then the crowd.
A. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. And then the crowd went, M Punk. And that's how the promo ended. Excellent stuff from Punk. Really good. And then it kind of cut right into Drew McIntyre in the back getting ready for his main event match, which I thought was a good segue with obviously the history of Drew and Punk last year. I thought this was really good. CM Punk's been on fire promo-wise the last couple of weeks. Basically since the Seth stuff. He's been, it feels like we're in like prime CM Punk promo, like easily the best promos he's been cutting since he's returned. Like no question. Like he's in it. He's in it right now. He knows Mania time's coming. He knows. And he did make a lot of good points, Fernando. Like you said, he made all the sense in the world tonight, Punk. Another babyface that didn't sound like an idiot. Good to see. Good to see.
Very good to see.
Yeah. Did you like this CM Punk stuff as much as I did?
Yes, I did. I
Okay.
thought it was one of his best. Like you said, it was legitimately one of his best promos since returning.
I agree.
And the setting of it too just was so cool. Us in America, we don't get to see it very often, but
Nope.
as our international friends do. So it was nice to give it to America uh, this time around, and it added like so much to the promo. Just that different setting, that whole vibe with the fans right there, and yeah, it was really cool. Oh no, did your mic go off? Well, yeah. So that's Lou. Lou likes to take microphones and make sure that they don't work for my friend
Do you
over
see this
here.
cat right here? Do you see how much he is? All right, I need you to come over here if you want. Okay, yep, just get. Yep, that's he's sitting on my mouse now. He's sitting on my mouse now. So
Well,
you
make sure
know,
he doesn't
he's
end the
just
stream.
like he might. He might. We're just gonna see. We're gonna see how this goes. But he's ready. He's ready. He's like, you're usually not doing this now, Dick. Anyway. Yeah, I thought it was really good. We then have Damage Control going up against the Pure Fusion Collective. I'm sorry. It was Baszler and Zoe Stark representing them. This match was fine. Definitely building towards someone returning, whether it be Kairi Sane or maybe Asuka. But it feels like this is very much 3-on-2. The numbers game is, getting the best of them. Yeah, just go down right there, babe. That's where I need you to go down, babe. Yes, Lou, my man, brother. Hell
For
yeah,
now.
brother. Yeah, for now. I will say the one thing, and yes, and Dan just said it, that springboard drop kick that Zoe Stark hit on Dakota Kai was unbelievable. They showed the replay like 4 times. That was such a
Very good.
violent looking move. Zoe Stark is incredible in the ring. She's very, very good. Oh God, he's gonna attack me. But I can tell
I told you for now.
he gave me the clothesline. He gave me that clothesline look. Psychopath. I thought this match overall was fine. Again, I thought it was fine. Io Sky continues to be just the best. Like truly the best. Damage Control gets the win with Io hitting the moonsault. I do hate that Shayna Baszler gets pinned every week in this team. Like the greatest
It
NXT
is what
women's
it is at this
champion.
point.
No, but it's bullshit. It's the greatest NXT women's champion of all time. Of all time. Ridiculous. Anyway, but again, I thought the match was fine. And then we get to our main event. And boy, oh boy, this was a good one. It was a WrestleMania rematch, Drew. It was Drew McIntyre going one-on-one with Seth freaking Rollins. This was a WrestleMania rematch, and they went out like it was WrestleMania. I thought this was very good, as you would expect with these two. These are two of the top guys in the whole company. Back and forth. I thought there was a really cool spot where Seth went for his superplex into the Falcon Arrow, but so he hit the superplex, and then Drew actually reversed it into a Falcon Arrow on Seth, which I thought was a very cool looking move. There were a couple, other good reversals and things of that nature. The Future Shock DDT, I still love that finishing move. I know it's not his finisher. I love the Claymore's good too. But I love the Future Shock DDT. I just love the way it looks. He hit a good one on Seth, but a 2 count. And then Seth ended up getting the victory with a kind of a jackknife pin at the end. And he kind of snuck one on Drew McIntyre. And then post-match, Drew is pissed and he attacks Rollins immediately, Drew. He chases the referee out of the ring. He hits Seth with the Claymore. He drags him over to the corner and he puts his head against the post. And it looks like he's going to do a running Claymore like into the post, which probably would have been the end of Seth for a while. But Sami Zayn runs down the ramp, makes the save. He puts McIntyre into the post. And Drew, let me tell you, this little end sequence right here, ooh, they added some juice. And I loved every fucking second of it. Sammy checks on Seth, rolls him to safety in the corner. McIntyre back in the ring. He hits a big headbutt. They're still feuding. They get back inside the ring. Sammy is setting Drew up for the haluva kick, and Drew moves out of the way, and Sammy hits Seth directly in the face with a haluva kick. McIntyre slides out of the ring, cackling, laughing hysterically at what just happened. And Raw ends with Rollins looking very agitated at Sami Zayn, with Sami Zayn saying, hey, no, I was going for it. No. And that's how Raw ended. Very good. Very, very good. Very juicy. The Seth Sammy stuff they've been doing here the last couple of weeks, I've really enjoyed. I think Seth should turn on Sammy at some point.
Absolutely.
But I really liked this match, and I liked everything to end the show.
We're still kind of going along a path of Seth, KO, Drew being like a heel stable.
I think we're getting it at some point this year. I think we're doing it.
And I really am excited for that, because I think that's got, even though Seth and Drew are feuding, I still think it's that extra hatred for OG Bloodline. That just sends them over the edge, and they're like, well, we have, just like they had a common enemy and joined together, we have a common enemy and joined together, and we got to go after these guys. So I think that's coming this year for sure, and I'm really excited.
I am too. And that's how the show went off the air. So we got about 5 minutes or so. I mean, we're not going to get into a full breakdown of anything, but I did want us to touch on the Saturday night's main event. It is this Saturday from San Antonio, Texas. Right now we have 4 matches booked, and we have the contract signing. So there's going to be a contract signing, which they might just keep it to 4 matches if this is going to kind of be a long form segment. Maybe this is like the 5th match, if this is like a 15-minute thing or something like that.
I'm betting on that.
Yeah, I feel like SmackDown could add another match, because there's only 1 SmackDown match out of the 4. The other 3 are all right. It's Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman. It's Gunther and Jay. It's Rhea. Well, Nia's a SmackDown person, so Rhea and Nia is kind of a little bit of both.
Right.
And then the 4th match is who? What the hell's the 4th match? I'm drawing a blank here. I have my card up here, so hold on.
Maybe.
Oh, Sheamus and Braun Breaker for the IC title. That's a Raw match. So really, there's kind of 3 Raw matches and only 1 SmackDown match. Hogan should not appear on my television screen ever again, Fernando. That's how I feel about that. Ever again. He does not need to be there ever in the history of time. I thought what CM Punk said about burying that forever, that's the way they should go. Does not need to be on TV ever again. The man is a racist. So anyway, yeah, so those are the 4 matches. All right, so let's dive through them real quick. So we saw one of the newest one announced tonight. We have Rhea Ripley defending her WWE Women's World Heavyweight title against Nia Jax. I assume we're both aligning that there's no way Rhea's losing this at all. Yeah, so Rhea is going to retain there. We then have, let me tell you, Big E's dream of big meaty men slapping meat. I'm excited about this one. Braun Strowman one-on-one with Jacob Fatu. When they did that face-off last week and Strowman ripped off his shirt and Jacob Fatu, I was like, let him go. I was like, let's go. Just do it. These guys are going to tear the crap out of each other.
Jacob Fatu has to win this.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, Jacob Fatu is winning. But this match is going to be a blast. Like, this match is going to be a car wreck type of affair. And this is going to be a coming out party for Jacob Fatu, like big time. We then have the Intercontinental Championship match. We have Braun Breaker defending against Sheamus, the only title that has eluded Sheamus in his Hall of Fame career, looking for the Grand Slam. I think if there were a title to change hands, I know you think a little bit differently because of the main event. I think this would be the one. I think if there were a title to change hands, it would be this one. I don't think any of the titles are changing hands, though.
I don't think it's time yet.
I don't either. I think you can continue this and build it to Mania, and you give it to Sheamus at Mania.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what you try to do. So I don't think it's time yet. I honestly don't think any of the titles are changing hands here. But how are we feeling about Braun Breaker and Sheamus? You think Breaker retains?
Yeah.
All right. And this is the only one that I think we might feel different. I know you went into what your thoughts were about this one, but the main event, the World Heavyweight Championship, Gunther defending against Jey Uso. I believe Gunther will retain, but I can be bought into Jey Uso pulling the upset here. I can be bought into it. He's so over. He's so over that I could be bought into it, but I do think Gunther retains. I do. I think Gunther going into Mania as the champion, I think there's more money in that. There's more money in that.
That's fine. My only retort is
Yeet.
yeet.
It's possible. It's possible. I do think there is a little. I know earlier at first I was like, there's no chance in hell. But as you we've talked about your side of it because you mentioned it last week as well. But, hearing your side of things and then kind of seeing how over he is, like even like just week after week, I do think there is a small chance he could do it, and it would be a hell of an upset. It would be a hell of an upset to win the title, and it would be a hell of a moment. I don't know. I don't know if I see it happening. But we'll see. It could.
And also, there's is it Saturday night's main event worthy, or is it like Royal Rumble worthy, or main pay-per-view worthy? I can see maybe because it's so close to the Royal Rumble, do they rematch and maybe he wins at Royal Rumble?
Maybe. I was going to say, because all these titles are up for grabs a week before the Rumble, does that mean that none of these titles are going to be up for grab at the Rumble? Because right now, the Rumble's 3 matches. It's 2 Rumbles and the ladder match. That's all we have at the Rumble right now. Now, usually the Rumble is not a large card. It's usually only, 5-ish, like 3 non-Rumble matches in the Rumbles or somewhere around there. It's not a big large because those Rumble matches are taking an hour each. You know what I mean? Basically.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me think that everything that we're seeing defended on Saturday is not happening at the Rumble. But I do think if you were going to add one, a rematch in this particular match would be the way to go. You have the 2 world titles up for grabs. I would like to see a single, like a women's match for one of those belts. I got 4 singles women's titles now on your roster. I wouldn't mind seeing one of them defended. At the Rumble? No, you got the IC, the US. Yeah. I would like to see one of them defended at the Rumble. We're getting one on Saturday night with Rhea. But is Tiffany going to defend against Anaya in the rematch at the Rumble? Can you add that? Or can you add...
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, we got to go. It's late.
But, yeah. But anyway, no, yeah, we kind of hoped for the 12:30 out, so we are there. So let the people know. Oh, yeah, I don't even have our things up. But let the people know where they can find you. So Drew will not be here on Thursday.
I will not.
I will have a guest with me.
AEW on Thursday. You have a guest. Do you know who that guest is?
Maybe not.
Oh,
I haven't asked. I haven't asked a soul. Okay. I haven't asked a soul. So maybe you can believe me when I say I haven't asked a soul yet, or maybe I'm full of shit and I'm just trying to keep it coy. Who knows? I'm obviously going to announce it with a little bit of, I want to promote it. Duh. But who knows? You're just going to have to pay attention to the Firmly LW social media pages at Firmly LW on Twitter, or follow me and Drew, and all that fun stuff. But yes, so I will have...
My thing isn't showing there, but
no,
I didn't get to put it in.
Yeah.
But you can follow me at the Drew Nicholas on Twitter and Blue Sky. And I will be, well, I announced last week, but I'll say again, my job is crazy this week, so obviously we're doing this now because I need to be in early Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I want to die, and it's not my normal time. I have to wake up very early. And I will be hosting Firmly AEW the following week. So I'll be missing this week's Firmly AEW. Next week, JPJ will be missing Firmly AEW for good reason. Obviously, he'll be traveling
I'll
to
be
the Royal
traveling
Rumble.
to the Royal Rumble in Indianapolis for the Beards Takeover. Anyway.
Yes. And I will be hosting with Mr. Dan Brown, who is in our chat stealing this guy's ideas.
Yeah, Dan's been
So
on
that'll be
point
fun.
tonight. Every idea that we are very aligned. We are aligned. You know, in the words of a wrestler that I'm not going to name anymore because he shouldn't be around anymore either, I don't give a shit about your kids. So, you know, that's at least, you know, that's how I feel. But that's going to be, yeah. So we're going to be, again, live at our normal time on Thursday and both shows next week. Just this Thursday, no Drew. Next Thursday, no me. That's how that's going. So we're each going to have guests for the next 2 episodes of Firmly AEW. So that's how it's going to be. But him and I will be back together on our normal Firmly WWE slot next Tuesday at 10 a.m. So we'll be back to our normal slot. So thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate good chat. Everybody that usually shows up in the mornings, with the exception of just a few, showed up tonight in the chat tonight too. So we appreciate you guys a lot. Appreciate all the likes and the thumbs up on YouTube. Share this one out. It helps a lot for us. But yeah, for Drew, for myself, hope everyone has a great rest of your Monday evening. And I will see you on Thursday with whatever special guest or whoever special guest I have joining me. But until then, for Drew, for myself, for all of us here at Love Wrestling, you know the drill. Peace out.